Ladies and gentlemen, there is a quiet power in waiting, a wisdom in stillness, a grace in trusting that life will unfold as it must. Patience is not about standing idle, but about standing firm in faith, hope, and resilience. Patience is not weakness, it is strength. It is the willingness to endure without bitterness, to trust without wavering. The strongest souls are not those who rush through life, but those who walk with steady purpose, knowing that every season has its time. We live in a world that glorifies speed, fast success, quick results, immediate gratification. But wisdom whispers to us, be still. Growth cannot be rushed. The tree that spreads its roots deep into the earth does not bloom overnight. The caterpillar does not become a butterfly in a day, and we too must embrace the process of becoming. When life tests us, when doors close, when plans fail, when the road ahead seems uncertain, patience reminds us that delay is not denial, that storms may rage, but they will pass, that the greatest things in life, love, purpose, healing, are worth waiting for. Patience is also a kindness we give ourselves. We will stumble, we will fall, but we must allow ourselves the grace to rise again, to learn, to grow, to take another step. Every mistake, every failure, every delay is a lesson shaping us into who we are meant to be. In a world that moves fast, where success is measured by how quickly we can achieve our goals, patience is often misunderstood. People mistake it for passivity, for inaction, for a lack of ambition, but true patience is none of those things. Patience is not sitting idly while the world moves past you. It is not surrendering to circumstances without effort. It is not weakness. It is strength in its most profound form. Patience is the ability to stand firm in the face of delay, disappointment, and difficulty. It is the quiet determination that keeps us moving forward, even when progress feels invisible. It is having the courage to trust the process, to believe that the seeds we plant today will bear fruit in due time. Strength is often seen in displays of power, in quick reactions, in taking immediate control. But real strength is measured in endurance. It is found in the one who holds their ground, even when everything inside them is screaming to give up. It is found in the person who continues to dream, to work, to believe, despite setbacks and failures. Think of the river carving through the rock. It does not do so through force, but through patience. Day by day, drop by drop, shaping its path with unwavering persistence. Think of the mighty oak tree. It does not sprout overnight, but grows steadily, its roots deepening, its branches reaching skyward, weathering storms without breaking. Patience requires discipline. It takes discipline to hold on when things are uncertain, to resist the urge to rush into decisions out of fear or frustration. It takes wisdom to recognize that some things take time. Healing, love, success, understanding. It takes faith to believe that even when we cannot see the results, our efforts are not in vain. Patience is the strength to endure what we cannot control. It is the ability to walk through the storm without losing hope. It is knowing that even when life does not unfold according to our timeline, it is still unfolding exactly as it should. And so let us not confuse impatience with strength. It is not the loudest voice in the room that is the strongest, but the one that listens. It is not the person who rushes to react, but the one who takes time to understand. It is not the one who demands instant results, but the one who works diligently, knowing that great things are built over time. Patience is not weakness. purpose, it is power, it is wisdom, it is resilience. And those who master it will find themselves standing strong long after the storm has passed. In a world that moves at the speed of light, where noise is constant and distractions are endless, stillness is often overlooked. We are taught that action is everything, that to be successful we must always be moving, always doing, always pushing forward. But there is a power, a deep and undeniable strength in stillness. Stillness is not emptiness, it is not idleness, it is not stagnation. It is a quiet force, a steady presence, a place where wisdom is found and strength is renewed. It is in stillness that we hear the whispers of truth, that we find clarity in confusion, that we connect with our deepest selves. The world rushes us. It tells us we must always be ahead, always planning the next step, always chasing something just beyond our reach. But in our constant movement, we often lose sight of where we are. We become so focused on the destination that we forget to be present in the journey. Stillness teaches us to listen, to pause, to reflect. In the silence, we can hear what we have been too busy to notice, the quiet pull of our intuition, the lessons hidden in our experiences, the truths we have ignored in the chaos of daily life. Some of the greatest insights, the most profound realizations, do not come from running after them, but from allowing them the space to emerge. We often think of strength as loud, as forceful, as something seen and felt. But true strength is often silent. It is the ability to remain calm in the face of turmoil. It is the power to hold steady when everything around us is shaking. It is a quiet resolve that refuses to be broken. A mountain does not fight the wind. It stands firm and lets the storm pass. The ocean does not resist the tides. It flows with them, knowing that stillness will return. Likewise, we do not need to meet every challenge with immediate reaction or frantic action. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is be still. Observe, breathe, and trust that we will know when the time is right to move. Stillness is also a place of healing. When we are constantly in motion, we do not give ourselves the chance to process, to rest, to recover. Just as the body needs sleep to heal, the mind and soul need stillness to reset. In stillness, we learn patience with ourselves. We learn that it is okay not to have all the answers immediately. We learn to accept the unknown, to sit with discomfort, to let emotions rise and fall without being overwhelmed by them. Stillness allows us to meet ourselves where we are with kindness and understanding. Finding stillness does not mean we abandon action altogether. It means we learn to balance movement with rest, speaking with listening, doing with being. It means carving out moments in our day to step away from the rush, to breathe deeply, to sit quietly, to appreciate the world around us without feeling the adversity as the certainty of life. No matter how carefully we plan, how hard we work, or how much we try to control our path, challenges will come. There will be moments when life does not go as expected, when the road ahead is filled with obstacles, when doors close despite our best efforts. It is in these moments that patience is tested, and it is in these moments that patience becomes our greatest strength. Patience in adversity is not simply about waiting. It is about enduring with faith, about holding on when everything in us wants to give up. It is about trusting that even the hardest seasons serve a purpose, that struggles refine us rather than define us. and that even when we cannot see the way forward, we are still moving toward something greater. Life's most difficult moments often hold the most profound lessons. Hardship forces us to look within, to reevaluate our priorities, to discover strengths we never knew we had. When everything is easy, we rarely grow. It is in struggle that we develop resilience, in difficulty that we learn perseverance, and in darkness that we learn to find our own light. Yet, when adversity strikes, our first instinct is often to resist, to fight, to demand that our situation change immediately. We want solutions now, relief now, answers now. But patience teaches us that growth takes time, that healing cannot be rushed, that every season of hardship is shaping us in ways we may not yet understand. One of the hardest things to do in adversity is to keep believing when nothing seems to change, when doors remain closed, when progress feels invisible, when prayers go unanswered. It is easy to feel defeated, but patience reminds us that delay is not denial, that just because something is not happening now does not mean it will never happen. Think of the seed planted in the earth. It does not sprout the moment it is buried. Days, weeks, sometimes even months pass before any sign of life appears. But beneath the surface, in the unseen places, transformation is taking place. The roots are growing, the foundation is strengthening, and in time, what was once hidden will break through. The same is true for us. Just because we cannot see the progress does not mean it is not happening. Just because life feels stagnant does not mean we are not growing. Patience in adversity means trusting that even in silence, even in waiting, even in struggle, something is being prepared for us. Patience is endurance. It is waking up each day and choosing to keep going, even when everything inside us wants to quit. It is refusing to let hardship harden our hearts, to let disappointment make us bitter, to let obstacles steal our hope. True strength is not found in how quickly we overcome adversity, but in how we carry ourselves through it. Do we let it break us, or do we let it build us? Do we allow it to fill us with anger and resentment, or do we use it as an opportunity to grow? History is full of stories of those who faced unimaginable adversity but refused to give up. They were not the fastest, not the strongest, not the most privileged. They were simply the ones who endured, who refused to let hardship be the end of their story, who understood that patience is not passive, is power. When we face trials, we often ask, why is this happening to me? But perhaps a better question is, what is this teaching me? Patience in adversity means shifting our perspective, not seeing hardship as punishment, but as preparation. The challenges we face today may be equipping us for something greater tomorrow. The delays we endure may be protecting us from something we are not yet ready for. The struggles we face may be strengthening us in ways we cannot yet comprehend. So when adversity comes, and it will, let us meet it with patience. Let us trust that no storm lasts forever, that no winter remains without spring, that no hardship is without purpose. Let us hold on, stand firm, and believe that even in the waiting, even in the struggle, something good is on its way. Because patience in adversity is not about merely surviving. It is about emerging stronger, wiser, and ready for the life that awaits on the other side. Time is one of life's greatest instructors. It moves at its own pace, never rushing, never slowing down, always flowing forward. It teaches us in ways that no book, no lecture, no single experience ever could. It shapes us through lessons of patience, resilience, and understanding. If we listen, if we embrace its wisdom, time becomes not just something we pass through, but a guide that helps us grow into the people we are meant to be. There are things we simply cannot understand until we have lived through them. No amount of explanation can fully prepare us for the weight of loss, the joy of love, the depth of pain, or the strength we find in overcoming challenges. Time does not just heal, it reveals. It reveals who we are, what matters most, and what we are capable of. Think back to a moment in your life when you were certain you would never get through a hardship, when the pain felt endless, when the disappointment felt but time carried you forward as it always does, and one day you realized that the pain had lessened, that you had survived, that you had grown. Time teaches us that nothing is permanent, neither joy nor sorrow, success nor failure. Everything changes, and in that change we find transformation. One of the most powerful lessons time teaches us is patience. We live in a world that demands instant results, quick success, immediate answers, overnight transformation. But time does not work that way. It unfolds at its own rhythm, reminding us that the most meaningful things in life, love, wisdom, healing, purpose, cannot be rushed. A seed does not become a tree overnight. A masterpiece is not created in a day. The strongest relationships, the deepest understanding, the greatest achievements all require time. And when we learn to trust in the process, to let go of the need for immediate answers, we find peace. Time also gives us perspective. What once seemed like the end of the world becomes a mere chapter in our story. The mistakes we once agonized over become lessons that shaped us. The people we once thought we could never live without become distant memories, and new connections take their place. Time reminds us that what feels urgent today may not even matter tomorrow. It is often said that time heals all wounds. While time alone does not erase pain, it does soften the edges of our grief. It gives us space to process, to reflect, to rebuild. Healing is not a straight path. It is a journey with setbacks, moments of deep sorrow, and unexpected breakthroughs. But as time passes, we learn to carry our losses differently. They do not disappear, but they no longer weigh us down in the same way. Heartbreak, failure, loss, all these things feel unbearable in the moment. But with time, we gain understanding. We see that every heartbreak made room for something new. Every failure redirected us towards something better. Every loss taught us to cherish what remains. Time does not just pass, it transforms. Who we were 5 years ago is not who we are today, and who we are today is not who we will be 5 years from now. Growth is a continuous process shaped by our experiences, our struggles, and our moments of joy. Think of the person you used to be, the things that once upset you, the dreams you once had, the lessons you had not yet learned. With time, you have grown wiser, stronger, more understanding, and as time continues, you will continue to evolve. The greatest mistake we can make is to resist time, to wish we could rush through difficult seasons, to dwell on the past, to fear the future. Instead, we must embrace it. We must trust that every experience, good or bad, is shaping us. We must have faith that even when we do not understand why things are happening, time will reveal the answers. Time is always moving, always teaching. The question is, are we paying attention? Are we allowing ourselves to learn from our past, to grow from our mistakes, to appreciate the present moment? Are we embracing patience, trusting that what is meant for us will come in its time? Are we letting go of things that no longer serve us, understanding that every ending makes way for a new beginning? Time is not our enemy, it is our teacher. It teaches us resilience, it teaches us wisdom, it teaches us gratitude. And if we are willing to learn, it will guide us exactly where we need to be. So let us trust the journey. Let us be patient. Let us listen to the lessons time is teaching us. Because in the end, time will shape us into the people we were always meant to become. Of all the patience we practice in life, waiting for opportunities, enduring hardships, or understanding others, perhaps the most challenging and most important is the patience we have with ourselves. We live in a world that expects immediate results. We compare our progress to those around us, feeling as if we are always behind. We grow frustrated with our mistakes, disappointed in our failures, and restless when we do not see the growth we desire. But real change, real transformation, real success, it all takes time. And we must learn to give ourselves the same grace we so readily offer to others. From a young age, we are taught to strive for success, to be the best, to achieve more, do more, and prove our worth through accomplishments. But what happens when we fall short? When we make mistakes? When we do not meet our own expectations? Too often, we are our own worst critics. We replay our failures over and over in our minds, holding on to past mistakes as if they define us. We tell ourselves we should be further along, that we should have figured things out by now, that we should be better, stronger, wiser. But growth is not a straight path. It is full of detours, setbacks, and lessons that can only be learned through experience. Perfection is an illusion. No one moves through life without making mistakes, without stumbling, without moments of doubt. The key is not to avoid failure, but to learn from it, and that requires patience, the willingness to accept where we are today while believing in the progress we are making, even when we cannot see it yet. A seed does not become a tree overnight. It must first push through the soil, stretching toward the sun, its roots growing deeper, long before its branches reach the sky. The same is true for us. Growth happens beneath the surface, in the quiet moments, in the lessons we do not even realize we are learning. Think of the times in your life when you have struggled, when you have felt stuck, when progress seemed impossible, and yet, looking back, you can see how much you have changed, how the things that once hurt so deeply no longer have power over you, how the situations you once thought you would never overcome are now distant memories. Time has shaped you, experience has taught you, and every moment, good. But becoming takes time and patience. We must stop expecting ourselves to have all the answers immediately. We must allow ourselves to grow at our own pace, to embrace the journey rather than rush to the destination. One of the hardest parts of being patient with ourselves is accepting our mistakes. We are so quick to judge ourselves, to label our failures as proof that we are not good enough, not capable enough. But mistakes are not evidence of our inadequacy. They are stepping stones to growth. Every misstep teaches us something. Every wrong turn leads us closer to the right one. The most successful, wise, and resilient people are not those who never failed, but those who failed and kept going, those who learned, adjusted, and continued forward with newfound wisdom. So, when you stumble, do not let shame take over. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? And most importantly, give yourself the same compassion you would give a friend. You would not tell someone you love that they are a failure for making a mistake. So why do we say it to ourselves? We all have a vision of where we want to be, who we want to become, what we want to accomplish, but too often we compare our journey to others and feel as though we are falling behind. We look at people who have achieved success and wonder why we are not there yet. We measure ourselves against unrealistic expectations and forget that each of us has our own unique paths. Patience with ourselves means trusting that we are exactly where we need to be right now. It means understanding that just because something is not happening on our timeline does not mean it is not happening at all. Some things take longer than we expect. Healing, learning, building confidence, discovering our purpose. But what is meant for us will come in time. Rushing the process does not lead to lasting results. It only leads to frustration. Trusting our own journey means accepting that some lessons take longer to learn, some dreams take longer to achieve, and some seasons require more time than we anticipated. Patience with ourselves is an act of self-love. It means treating ourselves with kindness, allowing room for growth, and understanding that we are human. It means letting go of the unrealistic standards we hold ourselves to and instead celebrating progress, no matter how small. So if today you feel like you are not where you want to be, if you are struggling with self-doubt, if you are frustrated with your progress, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself you are growing even when you cannot see it. You are learning even when you make mistakes. You are on your own unique path, and there is no need to rush. Be patient. Trust yourself. Give yourself grace, because every step forward, no matter how small, is still a step in the right direction. In a world filled with diverse personalities, opinions, and experiences, patience with others is one of the most valuable qualities we can develop. Relationships, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, are built on understanding, tolerance, and respect. And at the heart of all these qualities is patience. People will test us. They will disappoint us. They will move at a different pace than we expect. They will not always say or do the right things. But just as we need patience with ourselves as we grow and learn, we must also extend that same patience to those around us. Every person we meet has their own unique background, struggles, and way of seeing the world. No two people think alike, and no two people move through life at the same speed. Sometimes we become frustrated when others do not respond as we expect, when they do not meet our standards, or when they take longer to grow or change than we would like. But patience reminds us that just as we are on our own journey, so is everyone else. The challenges someone else is facing may not be visible to us. The reasons behind their actions or behaviors may be deeply personal. When we practice patience, we give others the space to be human, to make mistakes, to learn at their own pace, and to grow without constant judgment. One of the biggest sources of frustration in relationships is miscommunication. We may assume that others should just know what we mean, that they should understand our feelings without us having to explain them, or that they should react the way we would in a situation. But communication takes effort. It requires listening, clarity, and most of all, patience. Being patient in communication means taking the time to truly hear what someone else is saying instead of rushing to respond. It means giving others a chance to explain themselves rather than jumping to conclusions. It means recognizing that people express themselves in different ways, and sometimes they may struggle to find the right words. If we want strong, meaningful relationships, we must be patient with how others communicate. We must be willing to ask questions, seek understanding, and give grace when misunderstandings arise. Disagreements are inevitable in life. We will not always see eye to eye with the people around us. Conflicts arise at home, in friendships, at work, and even in brief interactions with strangers. But how we handle these moments determines the strength of our relationships. Patience in conflict does not mean avoiding problems or allowing others to mistreat us. Rather, it means choosing not to react out of anger or frustration. It means taking a step back before responding, giving ourselves time to cool down, and considering the other person's perspective before making judgments. When we react too quickly, we often say things we do not mean, escalate situations unnecessarily, and damage relationships that could have been repaired with understanding. Patience allows us to pause, breathe, and approach conflicts with a clearer mind. It gives us the ability to respond with wisdom rather than emotion. We often expect people to change on our timeline. We want them to learn lessons quickly, to outgrow their bad habits immediately, to become who we believe they should be without delay. But growth is not instant. Think about yourself. How long has it taken you to overcome your own struggles, to unlearn unhealthy behaviors, to mature into the person you are today? Chances are it did not happen overnight. So why do we expect others to change so quickly? Patience with others means recognizing that people grow at different rates. Some lessons take longer to learn. Some changes require years, not days. If we want to see real, lasting transformation in others, we must be willing to support them through their journey, rather than demanding immediate results. The people closest to us, family, partners, best friends, are often the ones who test our patience the most. We expect them to understand us better than anyone else, and when they do not, frustration sets in. But love is built on patience. It is the willingness to stand by someone even when they are difficult, to forgive even when they frustrate us, and to choose kindness even when we feel irritated. Think of the times when others have been patient with you, when they have forgiven you for a mistake, supported you when you were struggling, or given you time to become the person you are today. We owe that same patience to the people we love. Patience is not just for major life moments. It is something we must practice daily. When a cashier is moving slower than we'd like, we can remind ourselves that they too are human and may be doing their best. When a friend or family member disappoints us, we can remember that we have disappointed people before too, and offer them grace. When someone's beliefs or opinions differ from our own, we can take a moment to listen and understand rather than judge or argue. Every day we are given opportunities to practice patience with strangers, with loved ones, with co-workers, and even with people we disagree with. The more we embrace patience, the more peaceful our relationships become. Patience is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is not patience. It is not passivity. It is a sign of strength, wisdom, and self-control. It allows us to build deeper connections, to resolve conflicts with grace, and to support the growth of the people around us. By practicing patience with others, we create a more compassionate world, one where people feel seen, heard, and valued. And in return, we receive that same patience when we need it most. So let us choose patience. Let us give others the time and space to grow. Let us approach life with understanding and grace, because in the end, the patience we show to others is the same patience we will one day need for ourselves. Patience is more than just waiting. It is a mindset, a strength, and a way of navigating life with grace and wisdom. It is the quiet power that allows us to endure challenges, to grow at our own pace, and to extend understanding to others. It teaches us that time is not our enemy, but our greatest teacher, guiding us through life seasons with lessons we can only grasp when we allow them to unfold naturally. Patience with ourselves reminds us that growth is a journey, not a race. We must embrace our progress, even when it feels slow, and trust that every step forward, no matter how small, is still movement in the right direction. Patience in adversity gives us the strength to withstand life's storms. It teaches us resilience, showing us that hardship is not a punishment, but an opportunity to develop courage, endurance, and wisdom. Patience with others fosters compassion. It reminds us that just as we struggle, so do the people around us. By choosing to be patient, we build stronger relationships, create deeper understanding, and contribute to a kinder world. Above all, patience is an act of faith. Faith that everything happens in its time, that setbacks are not failures but lessons, and that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. So let us embrace patience, not as a burden, but as a gift. Let us trust in the timing of our lives, extend grace to ourselves and others, and remember that everything meaningful, growth, healing, love, and wisdom, takes time. Because in the end, patience is not about waiting, it is about becoming.